Hi. Today I'm going to start with a question. Who are you more likely to believe? The guy who tells you to go ahead and fact check them and read the other sources and hear what the other guy has to say? Or the guy who tells you don't listen to what they have to say and critical thinking is a bad idea? Now, I know which way most of you are already answering this, saying I'm a fool for even asking this question, but an opinion piece by the New York Times said that you should stop critical thinking news that's put out to you and just accept it. I'm going to read a little bit of it, more quote than anything else. But yeah, here we go. It starts out, for an academic, Michael Caulfield has an odd request. Stop overthinking what you see online. And I kind of get that. You can't believe everything you see online. But, here he says, we're taught that in order to protect ourselves from bad information, we need to deeply engage with stuff that washes up in front of us. Back to the quote. You'll get imperfect information and then use reasoning to fix that somehow. But in reality, that strangely can completely backfire. Sure, anything can completely backfire if you don't know what you're doing. And I'll link this article in the description. And my kitty decided to join the conversation today. But I mean, there's a whole opinion piece, and granted, it's not. I'm gonna try to stop doing my hands. It's not put out like a piece of fact, like a news article. It's opinion, but it's still a New York Times thing saying don't critically think. Accept what you're told and don't believe anything else. Don't think on your own. Don't compare information. Don't find answers. And that's a little terrifying that a news source would say, don't fact check us. And it goes in saying, there's actually an example here, and it's called Stormfront. I've never heard of them. Apparently, it's a white supremacist message board. And it says in here that they're better propaganda than you. That's very possible. Very possible. But if you have morals that aren't going to waver in terms of one ethnicity is better than another, you can still listen to these arguments and say, no, they're wrong. They might make good points that even evil people make good points. You know, we keep hearing a lot of people referring to people as Nazis for being bad people or they don't agree with them. As if 1940s Germany didn't do anything good for humanity. And granted, they did do a lot of bad things. But rocket science came out of it, nuclear energy, all sorts of amazing things happened. And granted, the Germans didn't invent nuclear energy, but a lot of Germans were involved in the Manhattan Project for a nuclear energy weapon, which was later converted into nuclear power. And it was a German scientist who invented the rocket who ignored the war effort because he knew that it was going to be used to kill people. But he saw a chance to go to the moon. You have to critically think. You can't just dismiss things out of hand because you don't like it or it sounds mean or because you said the opposite last week. This goes right into the logical fallacy of appeal to authority. The news said so, so therefore it's accurate. I can find you news sources that say the opposite, but this guy says don't listen to him because you're too stupid to come up with your own opinion. I don't know about you, but I don't like when someone tells me I'm too stupid to think on my own. Just do what you're told, because that kind of sounds like the exact thing that they're saying is the problem. You know, authoritarianism, do what you're told, don't ask questions. You don't have the authority to ask questions. Well, here's the real question. Who's fact-checking the fact-checkers? Who's censoring the censors? Who gets to decide what's a dirty word? We're supposed to have all of these rights. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go around dropping N-bombs or referring to homosexuals as bundles of sticks, because that's just inappropriate. And yes, I have a right to say these words. Might get my ass kicked for it. But we can't have government coming in and saying you can't do this stuff. And as weird as it sounds, I would expect the government to come in and say something about, words like that before they stopped you from having a discussion. But I guess they already did when it comes to the FCC, which is falling apart very quickly. What's his name there? Very Democrat comedian in the 70s. George Carlin did a whole skit about freedom of speech. The 7 dirty words you can't say on TV. If you haven't seen that before, check them out. I'll see if I can find it. I'll link it in. I probably can't. But I will definitely link in this article. And here it is. I invite you to read this article critically. Now, I am obviously taking a view at it That's different what they're trying to say. They're trying to say there's a lot of bad people out there that are really good at this stuff. What I'm trying to say is I think you're smart enough to see through a big pile of BS if you put a little bit of effort into it. But if you're just going to sit down and read a headline on your Facebook or your Twitter feed and accept that as fact, then why they even bother putting out there stop critical thinking, because you weren't anyway. Good luck, all. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you found what I had to say interesting, thought-provoking, or even just made you flip a coin over and inspect it aside before you determined its value, go ahead and give me a subscribe, or even better, share it out there for someone else to watch. It's only a couple minutes at a time, and I'm just kind of speaking my mind like everyone else should be doing out there. God bless and love you all. Good luck, all.